Hi everyone, Little Wave here from Your Stars Within. Looking forward to talking today about the full moon. It's coming up in just a few days on July the 16th, 2019. It's going to be at 24 degrees Capricorn. We've been talking about this eclipse season. In a previous video, we talked about the new moon and the solar eclipse that was earlier this month, and we will have another new moon at the very end of July, which is quite unusual. But right now we're moving into the full moon, which is in Capricorn. It is a partial lunar eclipse, and it's very potent. So I want to talk about what this means. Got a few things here to share with you. All right. So because we're talking Capricorn, you can look at your chart. I will put a link on how to find your chart in the comments. And anything around 24 degrees Capricorn, right? So we'll say 20 degrees to 28 degrees, very affected. Because it's Capricorn, that means also the opposite Cancer. So about the same degrees in Cancer, or the squares, which is Libra and Aries. So again, 20 to 28 degrees in Cancer and Capricorn, Libra, or Aries. And this full moon is very much affecting that planet or that point. So look and see if you have anything around those degrees, whether that's a planet or a point meaning like your ascendant or descendant, something like that, okay? And if you want to ask about how that might specifically affect you, leave a question in the comments and I'll be happy to answer it. All right, a few things. We've been talking about in the new moon, big changes. To dream big, to think big, that anything can happen. Capricorn is the goat. It's steady, sure-footed, one step at a time, but it will get to the peak of the mountain. So this is an earth sign. Earth signs always have to do with practicality. So I want you to think about, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to make these big dreams a reality? How do I align with that? And how do I align with that in a really real or tangible, practical kind of way? What is the business of my dreams? How do I manifest them on earth so they're not just up in the sky as ideas? So Capricorn is sometimes known as the king of business. But when I think of business, I think of the ability to support oneself, the ability to take care of my needs, the ability to make decisions that are aligned and good, right? That are going to benefit me. And in that same vein, when we talk about the Cancer and Capricorn spectrum, because remember we talked about in the polarities about how a spectrum is really a whole. They're just two ends of the same spectrum or the same whole, right? They're a whole entity. They're an energy, right? So Cancer, the moon, the loving mother, and Capricorn, often associated as father and Saturn, right, can be the reality factor or timing factor. So we do need to, of course, trust the universe with divine timing and not push that. But more importantly, if you have anything that is falling on these points, I want you to think about generosity. I recently had two conversations just yesterday, both with Capricorns, about their gift giving, their generosity. I had one who kept giving me things. We had made an artistic barter and we were even, we were square. And she just kept wanting to give me more, more, more. But it unequalized it. I didn't want more. She was giving too much. And I could see in her life that she gives too much of physical gifts, but also of the heart, of emotions. I know that I've given too much, right? And being willing to help or to teach when maybe it's not the appropriate timing for somebody. So where do we give too much? Another Capricorn has noticed she's got a closet full of gifts to give. How sweet and how kind. So that's pulling into that mother energy of Cancer, that nurturing, right? But we know that when a mother over-nurtures her child without boundaries or discipline, right, that child becomes spoiled. that it's important not to overprotect our children because they need to grow into adults. The boy who gets overmothered becomes a man-child. Is that really what was best for that person, for the wife, for the children, right? So it's this practicality. Am I taking care of me? Am I giving too much? Where do I need to pause and be more generous to myself? What is good business? What is the good business of life? So these are things that I think that this eclipse is asking you to look at. Dream big. What do you want? How do you get there? And how do you align your energy there? Where do you need to pull back and shift inward? Because we're still in this Mercury retrograde. Where do you need to shift inward to get where you want to go out there? Right? Maybe I need to take more care of me and not so much care of you. Right? This is also in Vedic astrology, the full moon of the guru. So giving thanks to our teachers, to our gurus, especially those who have brought some enlightenment on our path. But all persons, all situations, all events, when we view it from a higher perspective, it is bringing us spiritual gifts. And so I bow to those lessons and I bow to those experiences because they are my gifts. They are what's teaching me along my path. So how do I do that? This is a great opportunity to thank or to give gifts. This would be a good gift giving, right, to our gurus, to the universe, to the lessons that we've learned. Whether we do a crystal set, whether we, burn some incense, in some way, a gift to the universe in thanks. So those are the main things that I think that you want to think about with this full moon. Like all eclipses, this will be stronger than a normal full moon and last about 6 months. So we talked about intentionality a couple weeks ago, right before the retrograde. And we dreamed big and we thought about what we want to have unfold. But now we need to think practically what we need to do. And I think there's an internal pull here. What do I need to do inside of me to get there? Not out there. That's all a reflection, right? Everything's a reflection. You are literally interpreting the world through the reflection of your pattern, right? Because your astrology is really just your pattern, your thumbprint. The moment you were born, the pattern in nature that existed. And so this full moon is pushing us internally to care for ourselves, to give thanks to our gurus, and to shift and align into the place that we can be to be ready for the changes that we asked for. Okay, so I would like to point out the necklace that I'm wearing. I'm going to come close here. Okay, see that? Isn't that awesome? That is Wraps by Rab, and I will link to his in the comments. I have a few of these. They're wonderful. This one in particular is a rose quartz, which is what I'm feeling right now with all of this. It is, good for heart, good for compassion. It can sometimes amplify emotions. So if you're feeling something like anger or negativity, it may not be, right? So pay attention to that. But for me right now, I'm feeling the gentle love, right? The soft water against the shore when it laps gently love, like a lullaby. And that's what the rose quartz is speaking to me right now. So I hope you'll check out some of his stuff. And I also want to share with you, I have a painting, and it's sort of got that same rose quartz coloring. And so I'm really sort of pulling in and drawing that energy right now. I want to share her with you. And I recently got some prints. I've never had prints of art before. I'll just put it a little closer. And isn't she beautiful? So I have a few prints available if anybody's interested. So as always, thank you for watching. Please check out my blog, Facebook, Insta, Your Stars Within. And I'm Little Wave. Thank you.